Welcome back to Sikkim 365 Radio.
It's time for fantasy guru Jennifer Smoak, brought to you by Riverbend Liquor and Wine, a hidden gem on Lakeshore Drive.
By the way, a text from the 713, listening from the Arches National Park in Utah, flaunting my green and gold. There are a lot of folks here that want us to beat Brigham Young, and thank you to the 713. We appreciate that. Now, this is a segment we'll go for several weeks until her team runs out of gas. Jennifer Smoak, Fantasy Football League guru, joins us now. Her draft was last night. Well, first, Garrett, do you have the text message from Jennifer to me earlier today? This is from her from earlier today, and you can see my battery power's like bad. Do my fans know that I am returning today? They are, and my response, they are thrilled. So that she wanted to make sure we were promoting the fact that she's back on 365 Sports. Now, I just hope to God your team's worth a damn, because the last few it's been bad. All right, the draft last night. Do you feel good about what you have with your football team?
Yes, I am. First of all, hi guys, I've missed you. I'm happy to be back on here. Yes, out of all of the drafts that I've done, I would say that I am definitely the most excited about this team. And I had my eye on several players before going into this draft. I did those mock drafts on ESPN and, really tried to get familiar with the guys, get familiar with who I wanted, kind of where people were falling in the picks. And I ended up with some great players. And I would say that, knock on wood, I think this is one of my favorite teams so far.
Well, you only have 8 teams in the league, so that made things a little bit easier on the draft. But let's go ahead and look at your starting lineup here, Jen, which anybody would kill for. Josh Allen, Derrick Henry, James Conner, Deebo Samuel, A.J. Brown, T.J. Hawkinson, Antonio Gibson's the flex, and I have a feeling you might wind up moving on from him after week 1 or 2. The 49ers defense and Matt Prater at kicker. This is a really good team. This is a really good team, Jen.
Love it. Now, Antonio had just moved in last night after the draft because I kind of like, my projections to be high. I like looking at that. So I put him into my flex position, but originally my main guy that I had drafted to go in that slot was Jalen Waddle. And I also have some pretty in-depth people on my bench that, I'm excited about. Allen Robinson, Chris Godwin, when he comes back from, his injury. A.J. Dillon is, okay running back to have on your bench, and Rashad Penny. So I'm very excited with the way I drafted this year. I am interested. First of all, don't hate like that, Paul. Don't say that I'm going to get rid of Antonio Gibson, because the one reason I'm excited about Antonio Gibson this year is because every time I play him in fantasy, he completely screws me with some long touchdown or, several touchdowns in a game. So hopefully he can be that person for me this year. But that position is definitely going to move around a lot throughout the season, depending on the matchup.
Hello, Jennifer.
Hi, Bubba.
Hello.
Bubba Bear.
Glad for this segment. It's the only way we ever talk, actually. No, I'm just kidding. You know me. I'm not huge on the fantasy side. That's Paul's deal, and y'all have some fun debates about it. But who was your first pick? Was it Allen or Henry?
No, it was Henry. So
okay.
The last 3 years that we've done this, I have always been pick 1 or 2, and I did not want to be pick 1 or 2 this year just because it's been a complete nightmare for me. Bad karma. I've lost my first pick every year.
Let's review. Christian McCaffrey goes down like immediately, right?
Well, and basically in the first, 2 weeks last year.
Yeah.
Then the year before that, Saquon Barkley goes down in the first game,
oh,
I believe.
my God, I forgot about that.
Man, that was really bad in hindsight when you think about it. Like, terrible.
Yeah, but yeah, exactly. And then the first year was Patrick Mahomes, which I think he went down a few games in, and then he did end up coming back. But, every year my first draft pick has been a complete bust, and it's been a nightmare. But this year I was pick 5, so I knew going into it, being in that spot, I would kind of have to get somebody, obviously not McCaffrey, Jonathan Taylor, someone high up, Cup, but I kind of thought I could possibly get Henry. And the girl that picked before me, Kara, she was at a dinner. Thankfully, I think her first pick might have hit auto because she didn't pick until it went to 0, and she had Derrick Henry last year and I believe the year before, so I was kind of nervous, but he fell to me, thankfully. So yeah, Derrick was first. Then I went with I went with Debo, my second pick, which that was my plan. And the whole time is I wanted to get Henry first, Debo second. And then the third and fourth pick was hard for me because I was really hoping to get a tight end like Kelsey or Mark Andrews. But of course, 2 picks before me, or 2 picks ahead of me in that round, they went. And so I knew I had to get Josh Allen because I really had my eyes set on Josh Allen this year. So it ended up working out. I'm not crazy about my tight end position. That's probably the one position I'm not thrilled about. But I also, I'm hopeful. I think it's not a terrible pick. But I kind of waited several rounds to get a tight end because there were just too many other good receivers on the board. Well, and with it being a PPR league, you have to go with receivers.
Yeah, it's good because last year you drafted Waller way too high, and he was terrible. And I've never let you forget that. There are problems.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll have an all-star season this year, but that's fine.
There are, let's see, important question. How many teams are in that fantasy? 8, Gregory Krug asking about. There are 8. Now, Joe Burrow coming off a severe injury. Derrick Henry coming off a severe injury. Godwin coming off a severe injury. Paul, did you take that?
We don't have to focus on the negatives. The thing is Derrick Henry is a beast, and yes, he broke his foot last year, which is difficult for a running back. And I feel like as long as he stays healthy, he's going to be leading the league in rushing touchdowns. I mean, it's Derrick Henry. I mean, last year I think all of our jaws dropped until he went out for the season. And yes, I do expect Godwin to be hurt the first couple of weeks, but I do hope that he's back 100% by week 3. And that's why I have, way more depth on my team this year than I have in years past. I have a lot more receiver and running back options than I have before. So let's say Godwin is hurt for a little while. I'm not really worried about it because of the depth I have. But we're not going to worry about that, Dad. And Joe's my backup quarterback.
Yeah, I was gonna tell. Here's the picks I like the most.
There's somebody on here who's a Bengals fan. They're very happy. B. Lee, by the way.
I like Rashad Penny in round 10. I think that's a really, really good value pick there to get a starting running back in the 10th round for a team. And Joe Burrow in round 12 is really, really good to back up Josh Allen there.
Well, you know what's funny, which really shocked me in this draft is another reason with Allen. Like when I went for him in round 3. It could have been jumping the gun a little bit because I have noticed in years past that girls that this is a lot of my, Texas Tech sorority sisters. So they love getting Mahomes, and a lot of them jump on him early. And I think after the past few years, they've realized, it's not necessarily always the smartest thing to do to get him in the first or second round, even though it's not terrible either. But I was, like I said, wanting a tight end, but I was really had my heart set on him this year. And so I just took the jump for him. But, yeah, the funny thing is the girls this year, there was a pick of a defense in the last pick of the 10th round. And I guess it started making people nervous for defenses and kickers. And so they started picking them in the 11th round, which was great for me because I was still able to get some great running backs and wide receivers. So that was beneficial. I wasn't going to tell them not to do that. But that was kind of something that was a little different this year because usually we don't really pick those until the last few rounds. So that kind of benefited me, too, with some people that I got on my bench.
Okay. Are the girls in your league, are any of them listening right now?
I don't think they're listening live. They always expect me to send it to them afterwards.
Are you still in a fight with Mare Bear?
Stop. I told you not to say that. Okay, so Meredith wanted to come over and do the draft together. And she had said, so Meredith's single, shout out, I can single her pick. No, I'm kidding. But she wanted Daniel to help her. And I said, Meredith.
Wait, rewind that. What was that part?
Meredith just said you can send.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
So there you go. I mean.
Hey now.
I can't. Stop. Okay, not you, Craig. Okay, so then, so anyway, she wanted to come over and do the draft together, which is great. That's so fun and everything. But she had mentioned, Daniel helping her because she thinks that all of us get help from our guys, which, they support us. But I told her, I was like, Mare, I just don't think that's a good idea because what if you're the pick right before me? Like, Daniel's not going to tell you the truth because he knows I'm going to give him the evil eye and get mad at him if he tells you somebody that he knows I have my eyes set on. So really, it's not going to be helpful, because I can't really let him pick her. I mean, help her. So anyways, it's fine. We're fine. We're past it. And honestly, if you go look at Meredith's team, she has the best team out of everybody. I mean, her team is stacked. So she has Jonathan Taylor, Saquon Barkley. I mean, I think she has Mahomes. So, and Andrews, I believe. Like, I'm not worried about her. So she doesn't need Daniel's help. So anyway.
No, she actually, her bench is really good too. Amon-Ra St. Brown from the Lions. Juju Smith-Schuster is a nice pickup on the bench. He's going to get a lot of action for the Chiefs this year. Rashad Bateman, Cole Kmet at tight end. You may want to maybe throw a tight end trade out her way for Cole Kmet.
I know if these girls would trade, remember
they're a mandate. They're not trading with you because you used to always set up the league in the draft. You had the first pick, and it always came back to haunt you. So they're not going to trade with you.
Quit. I will say there was one pick, Paul, that I was not sure about. So when it came, one pick that I just feel like I might beat myself up about after is I couldn't decide if I should go with Allen Robinson or Dameon Pierce. I feel like a lot of people have been talking up Dameon Pierce with Houston, and like people really think he has some great potential. And at the time of that pick, I had 3 wide receivers and my 2 starters, running backs. But I just felt like I have also heard a lot of hype on Allen Robinson being with the Rams and, splitting the catches with Kupp because Kupp's probably going to get, way more double team this year. And so I just had to go with Allen, hoping that Dameon, they wouldn't be as familiar with him. And of course I pick Allen, and Dameon, the girl Persia, takes him the next pick right after me. So that kind of made me sick. But at the same time, it's PPR, and that for those, points per reception. And I just feel like the upside with Allen was a lot more beneficial than going with a running back.
Yeah, I think you're okay there. But I mean, it might be the one thing you kick yourself about this draft. As long as you stay relatively healthy, Jen, your team's really, really good. So.
She's going to kick herself because of a tight end?
No. Allen Robinson.
Dad, I thought I told you to learn NFL while the season was out, while we were out. I called Dad last night, and I'm so excited about my team. He's like, okay, hold on, let me get a pen. Let me write this down. I'm like, Dad, I can send you the screenshot. It's 2022. And so he's like, okay. So he's like, all right, so-and-so with the Bears, right? And I'm like, nope, with the Jets. Okay. So-and-so. It's like he doesn't know NFL, y'all. I'm sorry. It's strictly college football.
Well, I mean, that's the last time we have you on this week or ever.
No. Hey, we've got a sponsor now, and I made an open.
And the first thing she said to me, Paola, is, do I get to get whatever I want when I'm down in Waco? I mean, drop by. Hey, Steve, I'd like to have a bottle of whatever.
I don't remember having a sponsor in the years before.
Well, you didn't, and they did this year. They did this year. So we're proud of that, and we appreciate Riverbend Liquor and Wine for being a part of it. I got a question for you, a college football question. If Texas Tech, your alma mater, Oklahoma, Baylor, and Nebraska were all playing each other, who would you want to see win?
Texas Tech, Baylor, OU, and Nebraska. Obviously OU, but I will, because I'm just a diehard Boomer Sooner. But I always say this about these 4 teams, and this would be the case if Nebraska was still in the Big 12. And I know it's crazy that I went to Tech and I like OU so much, but that's another story. But I always say that whoever's playing each other that has the best benefit to get into the college playoffs, depending on if they lose, then that's who I go for. So that's how I sometimes determine who I'm rooting for based off who has the best potential to make it. So if Baylor had 2 losses or if OU had 2 losses and was playing an undefeated Baylor team later in the season, I would 100% go for Baylor. It's just that's how I look at it. But I'm a ride or die OU fan.
Some people's minds are going to explode.
Oh, no,
here
I know.
and
Well, that means you never have to worry about mentioning Nebraska because they're not
Tech
a part
fans
of this
are revolting.
Anyway. Yeah.
Want to take your degree away.
Yeah.
Does she have a cactus by her social media profile?
No, I don't think so. At least.
Okay.
No, I do not.
So,
but Paul, okay, with that flex position, what would you do there this week? Would you leave Antonio in?
Against the Jaguar, the thing that worries me about that running back position at Washington is Antonio Gibson was kind of, they're kind of pushing him to the side until Brian Robinson got shot. And then
only with the Redskins.
And so, we'll see what happens there. Now he's got a play. I mean, Waddle is good there. I mean, you have a lot of good options. Rashad Penny. I mean, somebody's got to get the ball, run the ball in Seattle. So yeah, you've got options there. I would as soon as Chris Godwin's healthy, Antonio Gibson's out of that lineup, and Chris Godwin's in for me. So
yeah, and Antonio is not like my starter. It's just because they're playing Jacksonville. I feel like that's the best matchup, the best points, prospective points for this week. But no, I definitely think that position is going to be more held by a wide receiver. And I agree. I think Jalen Waddle, I'll be shocked if he gets as many targets as he did last year. But with all the weapons they have on this team this year, I feel like, there's going to be way more opportunity for him to get more throws his way. So I kind of just want to see how the first week goes and kind of start deciding from there.
All right. Anything else?
Nope.
All right, we've got the picture up. We've got the sponsor up. How is Persia like a 2 or 3 time champion?
No, she won last year. Then Meredith, I think, won the first year. And whoever won the second year is going to be mad I'm not saying their names. I can't remember. It's all a blur. I usually by that time of year I'm in a dark hole, like soaking and
blacked it out from the rage fits. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm repairing all the things I've broken and done by that point. But no, but Persia always has a really, really good team, and she was picking because it's a snake draft. So you go down, then you go back, and she was right behind me in the first round. So it was really annoying having her right next to me because I know that her husband is very familiar with this. And, for example, that's who took Damian Pierce from me. So that says that. So, we'll see what happens. I'm way more confident in this team than I have been before. Usually I have like 1 or 2 really, really great players, I feel like. And this time I feel like I'm more stacked. But that's the thing about an 8-team league is everybody has a good team. Everybody's stacked. So it's really about luck. It's about how the injuries play out and, who gets the ball.
All right. Someone wants to know whether you're picking Texas Tech to beat Houston.
Yes. Raiders, baby.
Get the guns up. All right. Thank you, Jennifer. Very well done. We wish you the best of luck. I sent you the text. Christian McCaffrey was already added to the injured list for Carolina because of some sort of a shin injury. I don't think it's a bad one. He'll play, but it's not the same. It's not the same.
I had the second pick in my draft with Steve May, and I passed on him. I drafted Austin
Who
Eckler.
would have been like the number 1 pick a couple of times in the last 4 years. From Paxton on the chat room, Jennifer Smoak goes to Tech? No, she did. She went to Tech. She went to Tech. Yeah, went to Tech. Long time ago. Long time ago.
Okay,
long
Dad,
time ago.
Really?
Calm down, Dad.
A couple decades? No, not quite that. No.
There were no
I love you
iPhones.
guys.
No.
All right. Thank you very much. That's Jennifer Smoak, Fantasy Football League.
There were no iPhones when she went to Tech. Probably.
Jennifer Smoak, Fantasy Football
Probably,
League.
Yeah.
Jennifer Smoak, Fantasy Football League.
Guru.
Okay. That's
Sorry.
Do you need him to say that every time?
Yeah, I think.
I mean, like, we're going to really make that a bit.
Open.
Yeah.
Oh, Guru. Yeah. Look, there weren't iPhones. There weren't iPhones when I went to school.